Hello, my name is Donovan, and today in After Effects, we are going to learn how to do an easy vintage VHS effect with no plugins. We are going to first create a new adjustment layer over our footage. We will then apply a fast box blur and an unsharp mask effect to the adjustment layer. Change the box blur's radius to 1 and the iterations to 8. Change the unsharp mask amount to 100, radius to 10, and threshold remains 0. To bring back some detail, we're going to add a sharpen and change it to 100. The next step is to create an edge mat. Start by duplicating your footage 3 times. We're going to add the set channels effect to the top layer and turn off the green and blue channels. Copy and paste this effect on the remaining 2 layers. For the second layer, we're going to turn off the red and blue channels. Finally, the last layer, we will shut off the red and green channels. We will select all 3 of these layers and change the blend mode to add. Pre-compose these layers and rename it chromatic aberration. Duplicate the footage again and rename it edge mat. We will apply the fine edges effect to the edge mat and then invert it. Move this layer above the chromatic aberration pre-comp. We're going to change the chromatic aberration layer's track matte so that it's a luma matte. Duplicate the footage again, pre-compose it, and rename it interlace. We're going to add the Venetian blinds effect to this layer. Under the Venetian blind options, we're going to change the completion to 50%, rotation to 90, and width to 4. We are then going to copy and paste the chromatic aberration into the interlaced pre-comp. From there, we create a new adjustment layer and add Lumetri color. We're going to pull down the whites to -50 and raise the blacks to 10. Under the Creative tab, we're going to pull the vibrance down to -40. Under the color wheels, we're going to add a slight shadow that's tinted blue. For the Curves tab, we're going to clip the highlights just by dragging down the top right corner and then into the first line. Under the Temperature, we're going to alt-click the stopwatch and type the wiggle expression 3,20. From there, we're going to add some distorted lines. We do this by creating a new adjustment layer and renaming it bottom line. Then, add a wave warp and change the wave type to smooth noise, direction to 0, wave height to 100, width to 20, and speed to 5. Mask off a small area at the bottom of the composition and change pinning to vertical edges. We can duplicate this layer and animate it moving down for VHS damage lines, or we can just leave it at the bottom for some distortion. We are then going to create some edge distortion by creating a new solid and renaming it Edge Distortion. Add a fast box blur to this layer and change the radius to 3 and iterations to 1. Create a new adjustment layer and apply a displacement map. Change the target of the displacement layer to the new solid we just created, and change the source to effects and masks. We're going to change horizontal displacement to 0 and vertical displacement to alpha. Make sure you turn your solid visibility off, just so we get the distortion on the edges. Finally, we're going to add some grain, create an adjustment layer, and add the Add Grain effect to it. Adjust the intensity to 0.3 and make sure your view mode's to final output. And there you have it. You just created a vintage VHS effect in After Effects. If you like this tutorial, please check out my other ones on my channel. Like and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell for future uploads.